Hello, everybody. It's Andy Schrepfer, and welcome to SWE at 2:35. That's 2:35 p.m. Central Time, 25 minutes before the market closes. Again, Andy Schrepfer. Go visit at www.swe235.com and see this live. We're going to start out doing it on Fridays, and then get to doing it every market day at 2:35. We're going to do a workout if you want to, or just listen along to talk about a stock's segment. A stock chart has a bunch of ups and downs. We measure them with something I call the financial fitness machine. If you needed another acronym, that's FFM. The concept is that your year-to-date performance of whatever stock gets divided by 10, and that translates into your incline on a treadmill. So in this case, a 235% gain that NVIDIA's had before, that Life 360 had, that Intel's on its way toward, that Rackspace is on its way toward, you're going to be at 23.5 degrees of incline. And as the origin story goes, when I told someone next to me that I was doing the NVIDIA at 23.5 degrees, he said, "How fast does NVIDIA go?" That was a great question. And that led me to find what matters is the stock moving 10%. If you like the movie A Dog's Purpose, well, I found that a stock's purpose is to go 10% in a year. As an asset class, doesn't that make sense that a stock's purpose is to go up 10% in a year? Now, great traders and great managers find a way to get more than 10% in 1 year, especially on the years that we've had, where there's been 23.5% annual growth in both 2023 and 2024. We even almost got there last year. So here we are in 2026, and we got stocks going crazy. So whatever you want to do, we'll look at a stock, and you'll first just divide by 10, and you'll be at your incline. But again, if you want to use that interface on www.swe235.com, you'll see that your inclines are on the left side, just like they might be on the treadmill that you're on right now. And then we translate over into the gentleman that was next to me asked, well, how fast does NVIDIA go when it's up 235% and you're standing at 23.5 degrees? Well, I started running, just like I'll do right now. There's 2 miles per hour. I don't need to run that. There's 3.4, 4 miles per hour. And they say this is where you're supposed to not be able to talk. Well, I can talk, but I do have to take a few breaths in between as I go to 4.2, 4.3, 4.4, 4.7, 4.9. We'll stop at 5 miles per hour. Incline. 0.5, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to stop there. The point is, getting at 5 miles per hour and 3 degrees of incline, that's going a stock that's at 30% up year to date, and that 5 miles per hour gets divided by 5, or depending on how you're looking at the math, that represents 25% of a gain. That can be a 25% gain up, or that can be a 25% decline for its current trend. So we measure movements that go at least 10%, because every stock is currently 10% in one direction. So if it's always more than 10% in one direction, the idea behind this algorithm, math, would be that you hold it until it confirms 10% down, or in the other case, up. How many stocks have you traded where you've maximized the trade? That's something you can start to explore with this program. The idea is that you wouldn't sell until it gets down 10%. And a lot of people would say, why would you wait for a 10% move before you trade? Well, you don't have to, and there's a whole bunch of math inside of it. We lay it out for you on shadeogreen.com. If you go there, what you'll be presented with first will look familiar to a prediction market. But these are not live. There's no real money. We haven't asked for your credit card. But if you'd like to subscribe to this as a data source, something to view, I would love you to consider subscribing to shadeofgreen.com. But we look forward to making that an available market at some point. The idea here is that it's showing you odds. As the stock has gone up beyond 10%, you're then looking at the odds of it getting to 20% or a decline that measures 10% from any high on that path up to 20% in this case. What you'll find, to help simplify a lot of this exploration, is that 75% or more of the time, a stock does not reach 20% up before declining 10% down. Or vice versa, a stock 75% of the time does not reach 20% of a decline before having a 10% bounce up. And as you start to look at stocks that way, it quickly becomes intuitive. And then this site that we presented, shadeofgreen.com, just becomes a wonderful resource. You don't have to go into the calculation or even do another chat session with your favorite AI. I hope that makes a lot of sense to you, because what I'll leave you with today is that when you come back any 2:35 p.m., I would love you to always be thinking of what stocks do I want to own going into the close. And if you want to be able to walk in your office, walk outside, if you have Peloton at home, at your office, use it. If you got a membership, head over to Equinox, head over to Lifetime, head to your favorite cycle studio, Cycle Bar, Soul Cycle, thousands of options potentially out there. Take advantage of financial fitness the best you can. It's just like markets move, just like any stock that you're looking at today moves. You can find out where your own fitness level is at and explore stocks. One of the gems of this interface of a treadmill, that you'll never see a treadmill interface the same, by touching in any incline, touching in any mile per hour, in the middle is going to present you more than just health information. You get to see the stocks that are currently trading at that energy. And what's more, if you do this math enough, start to realize the simple thing that most class instructors already have known for decades. Music pairs very well with your workout. And an RPM that we're able to calculate, multiply that by 2, and you have a beats per minute. Beats per minute can be any number of songs at any specific beats per minute. Songbpm.com has been a great resource, and there's a lot of other sites out there. I'm excited for Spotify and Apple Music to also incorporate that and make that something so that you can just use your Spotify or your Apple Music to be able to find a song that inserts directly in all of these meetings. But what we've done on tickstock.com, TIKSTK, is help you bring your companies, whatever public company you may work at or anyone you know that works at one, be able to turn their stock chart into an album of songs. Those album of songs are more than just a cool song that matches the beat. They can each be blocks of a workout together. If that whole concept is interesting to you, you're going to love coming here at 2:35 p.m. Central Time Zone, because that's when it's 25 minutes before the end of the market. So here we are 10 minutes into this episode. We've walked the equivalent of 3 songs. So one of the formats that it may come to is saying, let's take 3 songs, 10 minutes, which would be 3 segments of a stock. Either one up move of more than 10%, one down move of 10% or more, and then a rally back of 10% or more. If that happens to be the last 3 moves of stock, or vice versa, down, up, down. If you'd have feedback on how much time you'd like to commit to 2:35, I'm planning on keeping these to 15 or 20 minutes so that there is time to get off the treadmill. If we do some more of those 5 miles per hour and above together on this live stream, love to know how much time you're actually interested in seeing it condensed, or if you'd just love to watch these on replay, but you would like the format of sticking to one stock instead of just doing one segment for the most recent segment of 3 different stocks that we can talk about at the end of the trading day, Fridays at 2:35 at www.SWE235.com. So thanks for listening. What we could do today that I won't do is actually do the exercise to a couple of the key stocks. The article I'm about to publish is titled, "Will Intel Rival Life 360's 2-hour marathon record?" There's probably a snazzier title that ChatGPT will help me with. But the point of this article is that as I've looked at all these stocks and manually typed in and verified each of these segments, I get to see which stock has had the biggest run. The world record, as you would say in that 2-hour marathon record, which 2 hours for 26.2 miles. The math on that is just under 14 miles per hour. And the guy who did that record actually finished at a peak speed of 14.3 miles per hour. What a beast. Just like my daughter. She's a marathoner. God bless her. The best I've done is Twin Cities 10 mile. It's an exhilaration, but I can only imagine what it's like in 2 hours to finish that race. Point being, as we're on these treadmills, there are some stocks that have gone up more than 100%. There's more than you'd think. And those are trades that if you were in, maybe if you owned it for 5 years, you were a part of that run. But if you're a trader, how much of that were you in? You probably didn't need to be in the whole thing. But if you follow this discipline as part of your strategy, you'll be able to never sell a stock that reaches 100% because you wouldn't have taken any of the temptations where it dips 7% or 8% or even 9.9%. There are literally a lot of great bots out there as part of electronic trading that help keep a stock from rallying or from dipping. This is how you can use this simple logic of my stock's up and down movements are similar to my treadmill movements. And enjoy that process. And the punchline of this article is that Life 360, ticker LIF, had the largest increase. Penny stock over 10 billion market cap, so that's 700 stocks. The largest increase without a 10% decline. And so I'll go through in this article the different stocks that have gone above 100%. And obviously, there's no stocks that have gone down 100% straight without a 10% rally, depending on how you look at the math. So we're going to focus on that today. And if you want to do those kind of workouts on your own, have a trainer. Have a trainer that takes you through what your capacity of your body is. Everyone's watts will be a little bit different based on height and weight. Calibrated this entire system based on what my body, some relatively average height and relatively average weight for an adult male. So I've applied that logic and give you the chance to personalize that as we go forward. But if you want to see what it's like doing the NVIDIA, we'll sign off there with saying, see you at 23.5 degrees. Thanks for watching. I'm Andy Strufford. Be good.